prepared. If you're feeling a strange silence these days, if you're silent inside while the outside world is talking, you're not alone. An energetic transition has begun. Something is shifting in the sky, and you are one of the rare souls who has noticed it. The sun is leaving Taurus and entering Gemini. Many will say this signifies more movement, communication, and outward focus. But you, yes you, feel it in your body. You know this transition operates not through words, but through vibration. Because this is not just an astrological shift, it is an energetic adjustment. The mental field is expanding. Thoughts are accelerating, but your system is beginning to pick up every external signal more strongly. That's why crowds feel exhausting. Even a simple conversation feels like a burden. And sometimes even being alone with your own thoughts becomes difficult. Because you're not just thinking anymore, you're feeling collectively. Your mind has started to absorb others' fears, hopes, and uncertainties. But this isn't a breakdown, it's a call to protect your light. If your energy levels plummet, even when you're sitting still, if you feel drained within minutes in a social setting, if you don't want to see people without being able to explain why, know that the system is trying to protect you. You're not sensitive, you're attuned. Gemini season starts something beyond words. Energies speak, glances carry frequencies, and your mind begins to fill with thoughts that aren't your own. Those sudden random fears, those strange emotional ups and downs, they're not yours. They're just echoes. And now, the universe is calling you in. Turn off your phone. Step away from the crowd. Cancel your plans. Because the real message won't come from the outside world. There's a door that will open in the silence. When the sun enters Gemini, this door opens. But only those who have tuned into their own frequency will notice it. This is not a closing. This is an alignment. And in this season, those who hear the most will be the ones who remain the quietest. I will soon explain the spiritual meaning of this transition for you. Keep watching. Before we go into this, I want you to do 3 things. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave the number 777 in the comments. You can also share it with someone you want to benefit from this video and support their spiritual awakening. Now let's go deeper. Today, the sky is quietly shifting. The sun is completing its journey through the steady and dignified sign of Taurus and is now entering Gemini. This is not merely a calendar shift, it is a powerful energy shift that alters our mental space, our focus, and our perception. After Taurus's slow, patient, and body-focused nature, Gemini is fast, active, talkative, and curious. However, this speed is not only felt in words, but also in thoughts, vibrations, and even emotions. Everything happens faster, and everything happens at the same time. When Gemini season arrives, the mind awakens, but sometimes this awakening is not clarity, but noise. Because every signal opens up, everyone starts talking, sharing, showing. Minds become entangled. Silence diminishes. Attention wanders. And if you are internally sensitive, this transition feels not like pleasure, but like a chaotic flood of stimuli. Most people see this period as a time for socializing, more meetings, more communication, new projects, ideas, content, messages, interactions. But if you are energetically sensitive, this is precisely where everything starts to turn upside down. As the outside world speeds up, something inside slows down. And that's where the real story begins, because this season teaches us something beyond words. True communication is built not outside, but inside. And sometimes the right answer is to say nothing at all. Some people can't stay in a room for long. While everyone else is still laughing, still talking, you suddenly say, "I have to go." Maybe there's no physical reason. Maybe nothing seems wrong on the surface, but something inside closes. The energy shifts, and that shift begins with a whisper. It's time to leave. But if you're tuned into everyone else's frequency, you might miss the signal that's meant only for you. At some point, your body refuses to keep smiling. Your eyes don't smile, only your lips curve. Effort replaces sincerity, and your system clearly senses this subtle difference. This is not just an emotional disconnect, but an energetic one. Even your facial muscles eventually can't sustain this fake expression. Your jaw tightens, your eyes grow cloudy, your shoulders slump, and a voice inside you cries out, "Enough." This is not social burnout. This is a frequency mismatch. It's not mental fatigue, but existential exhaustion. Gemini energy pushes us to talk, explain, influence, and entertain those around us. But not everyone responds to this energy in the same way. For empathetic people, this period can be a time when the incompatibilities between the inner and outer worlds become most apparent. You are smiling, but part of you is watching you, as if from the outside. You may not even recognize the expression on your face. And this sense of alienation arises from the clash between the way you constantly present yourself and how you truly feel. Your body sends you signals when it can no longer carry the energy. Avoiding eye contact while talking, leaving sentences unfinished, feeling a physical sense of distance. These are all signs that your system has switched from harmony to protection mode. Many people will feel this during this period. They will go out and meet people, laugh, chat. But then when they return home, a strange emptiness will settle over them. Everything seemed fine, but something was missing. Something inside didn't want to stay there. And you will only realize this when you are alone. Yet, at that moment, in that room, something had already left you. That desire to leave is one of the clearest signals your body gives you. People may not understand it. They might even say, "What's wrong now?" Or, "Why don't you stay a little longer?" But you felt something that was not on their wavelength. And this feeling wants to be honored, not explained. A truly empathetic being feels change first. And this change often begins with energy, not words. While people continue to talk, you suddenly fall silent. Words, sounds, laughter, all of it descends upon you like a curtain. While the outside world is still bustling, you come to a standstill internally. This stillness is the result of your intuitive intelligence. Your system is trying to find the rhythm that is uniquely yours. So don't beat yourself up for a few days asking, "Why do I feel this way?" Maybe one moment you were sitting in the room and everything was fine, but a second later you felt an overwhelming urge to leave. There is no logical explanation for this sudden shift, because it's not a physical decision. It's the loud voice of your inner frequency. This frequency whispers to you, "You no longer need to be here." And the moment you hear this, it's not your body, but your soul that has made the decision. You are no longer there, not just physically, but energetically as well. But people may still want to keep you there. They try to persuade you, with a smile, perhaps a joke, perhaps a complaint. But it's too early, they say. But your inner voice doesn't stop. Go now. So, if you suddenly feel an inner urge to disconnect in a social setting this week, don't suppress it. This isn't an antisocial reaction. It's the reflection of true harmony in the body. Your system is guiding you. Maybe it's a physical withdrawal. Maybe it's digital silence. Maybe it's just the desire to close your eyes and stay there for a few minutes. All of these are different reflections of the same message. Turn inward. And this turning inward, this intuitive withdrawal, does not weaken you. On the contrary, It reveals your deepest strength, because staying silent in a room where everyone is talking takes courage. Standing still in a place where everyone is rushing requires wisdom. And in an age where everyone is connected, turning inward is aligning with the highest vibration. This week, you may feel like cutting a conversation short and leaving. You may not have a valid excuse to skip a planned meeting, but you may feel like you won't go. This feeling is not an escape. This feeling is the guidance of higher consciousness, and whenever you listen to it, something resolves. Inner fatigue dissipates, and in its place comes true lightness, because now it's not just about social satisfaction, but energetic satisfaction. And staying, leaving, or canceling in this state of satisfaction is completely natural. Instead of seeking more, it's important to preserve your inner capacity. And sometimes, preserving energy is far more valuable than staying in the room. This awareness increases when Gemini season begins, because Gemini is not just about talking, but about listening and perceiving. People talk more, voices increase, movements speed up. But you may want to go the opposite way. Talk less, share less, observe more. This directly indicates that your energetic intelligence is awakening. While conversations continue at the table where you are sitting, you pause for a moment. You look, you listen, but you don't respond. Because now, instead of everyone else's voices, you want to stay with the voice within yourself. This silence is not loss. This silence is the beginning of true awareness. And sometimes, you feel like you belong somewhere. You want to participate. You want to be there. Warmth, familiarity, or simply the desire to belong prevails. But your body says otherwise. A voice inside you says, no. You don't know why, but you know. And in those moments, there is no harm in staying silent, stepping back, or simply observing. Because sometimes the deepest intuitions speak when you are most silent. Stepping back is not a loss. Stepping back is not giving up or distancing yourself. On the contrary, it is clarity, it is vision. It is the ability to step out of the crowd and see the whole picture. While everyone else is spinning inside, your ability to look from the outside is not a sign of detachment. It is an expression of your awareness. Most people are not accustomed to being seen so directly, so simply, and so clearly. Even your eye contact can bring to light what they have suppressed within themselves. This discomfort is not yours, it is theirs. So if you notice that you are less talkative, less outward focused, and less of a performer this week, do not explain it to yourself. This is not a time of loss. On the contrary, it is a time of focus and alignment. And perhaps the most important thing during this process is this: staying silent, moving with care, doing nothing, and simply feeling does not diminish your strength. This is not a form of surrender. It is a wise choice. This period may not be a void for you, but a time of depth. If the desire to be alone grows stronger over the next few days, and you feel a strong urge to turn inward, you don't have to suppress that desire. It doesn't need to be understood by anyone else. Your body and soul may already understand each other. The timing is no longer collective. This is your individual timeline, and your inner voice is setting the rhythm. The human mind sometimes rejects things it doesn't understand. You may hear phrases like, "You're just tired," "You're overreacting," or "You're blowing it out of proportion." But the truth is, the body never lies. When you ignore it, it speaks even louder, because this transition manifests not only mentally, but also physiologically. The Gemini sign is associated with the nervous system. The mind, hands, arms, and breath are all areas influenced by this sign. And during this season, many people feel intense nervous tension but don't connect it to energetic influences. You do. If you feel a slight but unexplainable pressure in your chest these days, or if you start to feel slight tremors, burning sensations, or muscle spasms in your arms, this is not just physical. If you are having trouble falling asleep, if thoughts are colliding in your head, one after another, at a rapid pace, this is not just insomnia. This is not just stress. This is a state of exposure. Exposure to excess energy, excess information, a mental data overload. Your mind becomes so open to the digital contact, conversations, messages, and views that pile up throughout the day that, without realizing it, you start to carry other people's frequencies, and at some point, you realize what's on you isn't yours. The thoughts that are wearing you down are other people's leftovers. And the worst part is, while trying to cope with this burden, you receive advice from those around you. Don't dwell on it. Don't let it get to you. It's nothing, you'll get used to it. Just smile and move on. But your body no longer responds. Even smiling requires effort. And at this point, what needs to be done is not to resist further. It is to let go. Not to stop, but to observe. Not to suppress, but to listen. If one day your hands are shaking, your eyes are watering, and you don't even want to look at your phone screen, it's not just fatigue. It's a warning. Your mental system is trying to pull you back to prevent you from becoming overwhelmed. This transition is telling you, you've had enough. Now it's time to let go of what you're carrying. You don't always have to keep moving forward. Sometimes stopping, taking a step back, is moving inward. And that's precisely why this period isn't a breakdown. It's a process of realignment. Think of yourself as transforming, not breaking apart. What's breaking apart isn't your wholeness. It's the mold that no longer holds on to what doesn't belong to you. So don't be afraid to step back for a few days. Don't try to explain yourself to others. Don't even bother justifying it to yourself, because you already know, not why, but when. And that when could be now. While the mind whispers, keep going, the body quietly says something else, enough. And at that moment, the greatest courage is not to go on. It is to stop. Sometimes the body doesn't scream. It just quietly shuts down. Even in the midst of things that once brought joy, fatigue sets in. Suddenly, the shoulders droop, the eyes glaze over, and though nothing seems wrong on the outside, something inside is breaking. You might be smiling, but it's not genuine. A habitual expression remains on your face, while sincerity has long since faded. A sincere sentence rises softly, "This is too much." And usually, this sentence is suppressed. But not now. It is no longer necessary to silence it, because this is not a dramatic escape, but an internal signal. The energetic system protects itself and calls for withdrawal. The mind still wants to act out of habit, but the system has already shifted to a different frequency. Taking a step back is not running away. It is creating space to restore balance. Being in the same room with people but feeling different things is not something to be judged. It is simply the soul whispering a message it has heard before. The energy has changed, and this change is felt, not seen. The weight on the shoulders, the unexplained pressure in the chest, the rapid collision of thoughts, all these are signals of accumulated stimuli. If ignored, the body increases its response. Inability to sleep, the mind being filled with others' voices, and a constant state of alertness are not just stress. They are exposure to excessive energy. The mind constantly processes signals from digital spaces, conversations, and invisible connections. Thoughts become entangled, making it difficult to distinguish what truly belongs to you. At some point, Fatigue transforms into not just physical, but also mental heaviness. And often, the environment struggles to understand this state. Advice comes, don't overreact. There's nothing wrong. Keep going. But the inner system speaks clearly. Slow down. Not to stop, but to listen to yourself. Because if the system is sending signals, they must be heeded. Trembling hands in the evening, tightness in the chest, inner restlessness, all signal the limit. Choosing to observe rather than perform, turning to your inner world rather than keeping up with the chaos of others, is the right step. While everyone else is raising their voices, you can choose to slow down. This is not a weakness. On the contrary, it is a sign of your need for clarity. Not wanting to be with anyone is not a deficiency. It is time to return to the center of your soul. New chapters open when you stop, not in the midst of the noise. The feeling of inner withdrawal should not be ignored. Not everyone hears the same call. But for those who do, transformation is at the door. Those who choose silence are the ones who are ready. Something that is not yet visible is approaching, and its voice can only be heard when you distance yourself from the noise of the outside world. And as we approach the end, I want you to know this. In ancient teachings, it is said that the soul hears the loudest voice when it is most silent. True knowledge rarely shouts, it whispers, and this whisper cannot be heard unless the outer world falls silent. Therefore, when the call of solitude comes, it is better to stay with it rather than resist it. Because when you are alone, not only does the world around you grow quiet, the voices within you also begin to clarify. Perhaps what you truly need is not an answer, but an emptiness. To remain empty, to be unprepared, to sit without expectation, to be able to tell yourself, I don't want to do anything right now, because that's when the energy shifts. An unexpected insight, a vision, a recollection comes. Even the sky notices you, and you align with it. While listening to the call of your inner voice, you may be different from others. You may even sometimes feel like you're doing something wrong. But remember, this call doesn't come to everyone. It comes only to those who can hear it. And those who can hear it are the ones who can carry it. Judging those who step back to find balance is the habit of those who don't understand the call. But you're stepping outside the ordinary. Your path is different. Your rhythm is internal. That is why, if you find yourself feeling a bit detached from this world, a bit distant, a bit like you should be somewhere else over the next 2 or 3 days, don't worry. This is not a separation, it is a transition. This is not loneliness, it is an ascent. You are currently stepping into a whole new level of consciousness. As the sounds of the outer world fade, the doors to the inner world open, and the confusion, indecision, or slowness experienced during this transition is not to stop you, but to align you. Your body, mind, and spirit are striving to come together. This is not an adjustment made by the heavens, but by your inner system, and you are simply in the midst of this adjustment, so rest. Step back, be silent. Don't wait for anyone's approval. Just make room for yourself. Because very soon, everything you are silencing right now will awaken with meaning. A new piece will be added to your identity. You will awaken with a new awareness. And when that awareness comes, you will understand why everything is so silent. Thank you for your time. When loneliness is a choice, not a necessity, it becomes a weapon to transform you. You are now aware of this, and with this realization, you will move forward, remembering who you are, without explaining to anyone, because silence is now your power. If this video has awakened something in you, you can take the first step by writing, I choose loneliness, below. This is not a confession, but an alignment. Together, we will continue to hear the voice within the silence. Let this be your reminder that solitude is not emptiness. It is space where truth echoes. In choosing quiet, you are choosing clarity. And in that clarity, your next chapter begins. See you in the next video.